I've got 5 pieces of gear that make a huge difference when you're out on a camping trip. First up are big steel tent pegs. These are basically steel nails with some kind of little hook added on so that your cordage doesn't fall off. But I've been using this kind of peg for a couple years now, and it is so useful. An aluminum tent peg, it just bends. The shepherd's hook style of tent pegs, you really almost can't hammer on them. So this just makes your life easy. When I'm setting up my tent or a big tarp and I really need it to hold, this is the way to go. I have another example here. These are big MSR Cyclone tent pegs, and you'd think that they have more holding power because of all of this extra surface area. The reality is that when you hit something hard on these, they just bend like any other kind of aluminum tent peg. If I had to choose this tent peg or this one, I'd go with this one almost every time because they're so reliable. You just don't have to worry about them. Number 2 is a good lantern. This one is made by Phoenix. It's the CL26R. It's rechargeable by a USB-C port. It has both a USB-C and USB-A port, so you can use this as a battery bank. It has a big 21700 battery that you can replace. You can have spares. It means that you've got that area lighting instead of just a spot. So it gets a little bit tiring to always be looking at things with your headlamp. This means that you can hook it off your car, which I often do here on the little sort of pull down strap from my tailgate. It has a flashlight function on the bottom, which is okay. It's not anything special, but the reality is that the actual lantern mode is fantastic. I'm partial to this model from Phoenix just because of all of the features and the fact that you can change the battery out, but any lantern is gonna make your camping experience a lot better when it gets dark out. Number 3 is a good quality air pump. This is the Max 3 from Flextail. I just got it recently, but I've basically been using it all year, mooching off of Justin Outdoors. Whenever we're out on a trip, at some point I usually turn around and say, hey Justin, do you have your pump? This is the one that he carries, and I've been really impressed with it. It inflates a large air mattress so quickly, and it also works on a pack raft. It inflates an entire pack raft in under a minute and means that you're not dealing with inflation bags. The same thing goes for my NeoLoft sleeping pad. It just takes a lot of hassle out of the whole experience. Now, I don't bring an air pump on all of my trips. When weight is really a factor, I'll leave the 125 or 150 grams that this comes in at home. But when you're out with a vehicle, it just doesn't matter at all. This is a nice luxury. It also has a really nice lantern feature. So if you're gonna pick up one piece of gear from this list, this will take care of 2. It has its own built-in carabiner, so it gives you area lighting in your tent or your vehicle or wherever you want that. It charges by USB-C, has just over 600 milliamp hours, so not a huge capacity, but more than enough to get the job done for a few days. Number 4 is some kind of saw. I've been camping since I was a kid, and having a saw is one of the most useful pieces of gear you can have. If you're gonna make a fire, it's way less effort to cut trees and branches with a saw than an axe. It's also much less dangerous. You can go down a huge rabbit hole of saws. The price can go up very quickly, especially when you get into the high-end silky models. This one was $9.99 at Cabelas. You really can't beat that in terms of how well it works and the cost. Last but not least is a good quality tarp. I have 2 big tarps that I typically bring when I go camping. One is a huge model made by MSR that can basically cover a whole campsite. This is also a really big version. It's 4 meters by 3 meters, so it gives you a lot of coverage. When it starts to rain, you will thank yourself if you have a tarp. Having a good quality fabric tarp that's all set up with your guy lines and doesn't rely on grommets like the big blue and green tarps that you get from a home renovation center makes a big difference. They're obviously a little bit more expensive and for some reason harder to find than the blue and green tarps, but it pays off in the long run. Bonus is to have some tarp poles so that you can get your camp set up much more quickly if you need to when the weather moves in.